We are back on Taking Care of Business on Current Radio, News Talk, 1180, 1230 KGEO, 1410 KERI, 1000 KKIM, and now on the Internet on knookmedia.com. I got it right that time. Serving Richmond, Oakland, and the San Francisco Bay Area. You ever get something, Tim, that just gets stuck in your mind and it just gets progressively worse?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. It just strikes your mind as funny, and before you know it, it's coming out your mouth.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Brian Johnson, who's the head of the National Right to Life League, 20-some-odd years ago, I was guest hosting for a friend of mine in L.A., and we got on the subject of, oddly enough, penumbras of the Constitution, which is the technical law behind, you know, the rationale for Roe v. Wade. And he and I looked at each other and we started laughing and we couldn't stop. And it was a live program. And it, you know, so we broke, came back from the break, everything was fine, looked at each other again and started laughing. You know,
wow.
Just because the law was so ludicrous. What the heck is a penumbra? You know, I mean, you know, you talk about, you know, making law, which is what we tend to do here in California. You know, the Ninth Circuit is good at that. But speaking of law, okay, here we have this high-speed rail that, you know, supposedly we've passed, not knowing what it was going to be. Sounds a little bit like Obamacare. And, you know, it's totally underfunded. It's going to end up being a rail, you know, way to nowhere. Is there any way we can stop this fiasco before it continues?
Well, you know, this is one of those success stories. When people say you can't do something in politics, and they say that to Republicans all the time because Republicans are in the super minority. They ought to take a page out of the high-speed rail playbook, because a number of my colleagues, but most predominantly Diane Harkey of Orange County, just kept chipping away at this issue and never missing an opportunity to talk about it and hammer it in the public square, and on very solid points. Not that we don't like trains. Everybody likes trains. But that's not what this is about. This is about the government saying that here's what we're going to do and here's what it's going to cost, and then it being something completely different. And now we're seeing stories of people who are losing their homes and their businesses because the government is you know, using eminent domain to literally steal their land.
Right.
All for something that is a political boondoggle. That's all this is. It's a payoff to all these different people, and that's why the train doesn't go in a straight line up the 5 freeway when it might go fast enough to call it a high-speed rail. So the encouraging news is that a judge has put a stay on it, and so it's not moving forward at this moment, and of course the High-Speed Rail Board is trying to fight that, and they're trying to find backdoor ways to just get some part of the project started so that it can't be stopped. But look, if we replace the governor, we would actually be able to control high-speed rail, because the governor appoints 5 of the 9 people who sit on the High-Speed Rail Board.
Mm-hmm. Now,
and I'll tell you what, I got a simple plan. I think we ought to spend $500 of the $10 billion that's already been allocated and make some really nice bumper stickers that say high-speed rail, slap them on all the Southwest airliners in the state, and declare mission accomplished. Because in reality, that's what we have. I mean, it flies high, it flies fast, and they give you free peanuts, and they're funny. And guess what? They're not bankrupting the state. They're not leveraging your children and your children's children's future, all so that somebody can have a legacy.
Right. And it's interesting how you mentioned his dad's legacy was the freeway system and the aqueduct system, which, you know, Jerry Brown is allowing to keep dry for the most part. It's insane. There's just no logic behind this. I'm just going to come out here and flat out say I can't speak for Clay, but as far as I'm concerned, Tim, you're my candidate for governor, and I'm going to do everything I can to promote you, because I think you'd be a great governor in the state of California. I
appreciate that, Marty.
Give us your website and your phone number. We've got plenty of time left, but I want to give it out a couple times.
Yeah, it's electtimdonnelly.com. So electtimdonnelly, Donnelly, so 2 N's, 2 L's. electtimdonnelly.com. The phone number is 760-933-8460.
That's 760-933
8460.
8460. Okay.
And you know what? If you can't find me, just Google my name, And I'm sure you'll find the LA Times has written about me every day this past week because I believe in the Second Amendment.
so, which is big here in Kern County.
It's big in America. That's why we're free.
So you don't think you're going to get the LA Times endorsement, huh?
Oh, no, I wouldn't want their endorsement. But they did do one good story on me, actually two. They put a headline out when it said gubernatorial candidate Donnelly demands that if we have a surplus, return it to the people you took it from. And I thought, wow, you can't pay for that kind of advertising.
No, that's great advertising.
So I challenged Jerry Brown on that and just basically said, hey, you stole this money, and now it's time to give it back if you stole too much. And then secondly, they did a story on me calling me the underdog. And it's funny because I'm the Republican frontrunner in some newspapers, and I'm the underdog in the LA Times. But people like underdogs because underdogs remind us of who we are as a people. I mean, America didn't start out as a behemoth. We started out as a ragtag handful of patriots who believed they had a right to live free. They believed they had a right to practice their religion as they saw fit without interference from the government, and that they would respect that right for everyone. And this country was founded on those precepts.
Yeah, definitely. So the fact that I'm surprised that they haven't fired a couple of the reporters that let that snafu go through.
Oh, no, they're making up for it. Okay. They've got a full team. They're working full time for one of the other campaigns as an arm of their research division. They're calling all of my family and friends and trying to, find something to hit me on. And it's amazing because I never knew it was quite that blatant. But when you have the power, it doesn't matter whether you're in government or whether you're at a newspaper or a television station. If you use that power that could be used for the public good for your own personal agenda, it's the same abuse of power.
Oh, no question about it.
Even if you're in the private sector, because those airwaves belong to the people. And if you're out there flat out lying, and that's what they're doing, they're twisting and turning the facts in order to smear me because they don't like my politics, and they don't like the fact that I could be the next governor of the state of California, and that I believe wholeheartedly in the Second Amendment, that I believe not only should California be a shall-issue state, but you shouldn't have to ask permission.
Yeah, exactly. Where in the Constitution does it say you have to ask permission?
Yeah.
I mean, and when I thought it was great that Ninth District decision brought out a very interesting point that when you combine all of the gun control measures, and I don't really like to call them gun control because there is no gun control. There's only government control of people when they have all the guns. But then they wind up with all the power. But they said with the banning of open carry, and you combine that with how hard it was in certain counties to get a CCW, which is a concealed carry weapons permit, because you have to go to your sheriff. And if you're not rich or politically connected, you basically are left out. You don't get the right to defend your own life. And see, the Second Amendment didn't give us that right. That's a natural right. The right to defend your life is a natural right that comes from the Creator. Right.
And we're supposed to defend life. And the Second Amendment just prescribes to us that ability with the appropriate tools, which happen to be guns.
Sure, in this day and age, definitely. I want to ask you a question about your hopefully soon-to-be competitor, Jerry Brown. Do you think, I heard an interview with him the other day, and I thought, oh man, he sounds like he's going to run for president in 2016. Do you think that's a possibility?
Absolutely. I mean, look at what the guy's doing. He's running around going on 60 Minutes instead of on local television. Here you have 2 million plus Californians. I think they've lost count how many have given up looking for work. And the government has become the greatest threat to your future and to your success and to your security under Jerry Brown. And he's gallivanting off, bragging about how he's put California on a comeback. Yeah, he's put it on a comeback if you're a government worker, or you belong to a public sector union, or you're illegally present in our country, then Jerry Brown's your guy, and he's made your life better. But if you're an ordinary, hardworking California in the private sector, if you're in that sink or swim union where you either make money or you don't eat, life has been made harder by the very government that's supposed to protect our rights by getting out of our way. And instead they're infringing them. And they're infringing that pursuit of happiness to the point that they're driving so many, all the college kids, they know they're getting out of college and they know the jobs aren't here. So they're moving. And guess who's going to move next? Their parents. And their parents are people who are usually pretty established if they could send their kids to college. So you're moving some of the most productive people out of the state, but along with them, you're moving capital with an A.
Exactly.
And capital with an A is the capital that creates opportunity.
Exactly.
The capital with an O oppresses opportunity, and that's why it's leaving, because opportunity, like water, it finds the path of least resistance.
Exactly. Tim, we just have a couple seconds left. Give us your website again and your phone number.
It's electtimdonnelly.com. So electtimdonnelly.com. You can Google me as well. 760-933-8460.
And again, I highly recommend Tim for governor. I think he would make a fantastic governor in this state. And Tim, next time we have you on, there's a lot of issues to talk about: water, taxes, education as well. I wish you the best in the future. And if we can ever have you back on again and talk about a specific issue, please let us know.
Thank you, Marty. God bless and Godspeed.
God bless, Tim. We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Current Radio News Talk 1180.